Our next guests, they join us right now. They run one of the biggest VC firms, in fact, targeting the crypto space here and all the technology that you can gather. They're targeting $300 million for their fourth fund, attracting investors, including already Richard Lee and, of course, the Winklevoss twins. Joining us now, CMCC Global co-founders, Martin Baumann, he's here with us in our Hong Kong studios, and Charlie Morris, who's joining us. Good evening, Charlie, out of Toronto. Gents, thank you so much for coming on the show. Let's start off, Martin, let's start off with you. 300 million is the target. I believe you're at 100 million. There's a clause that you can roll over some money from the third fund. So how much more do you need to raise then?
So, indeed, as you say, we kept the fund at 300 million. We are now at the first 100 million. We reserve, in fact, 150 million for our existing Fund 3 investors to roll over. We do manage across our funds currently around $500 million, so there is appetite from existing Fund 3 investors to roll over. So that leaves us to $50 million only actually available for additional investors. So yeah, we're going to reach that cap very soon.
Okay, and Charlie, could you give us a sense then of the types of investors or potential investors you guys are talking to? I imagine, but I could be wrong, these are not your typical teachers' pension funds. You know, what types of investors kind of make sense given what you guys are looking to do?
Yeah, so I mean, firstly, we're only accessible for professional investors, and what we've been seeing really over time, we started the company in 2016, and over this last kind of 5 years or so, there's just been this evolution as more and more sophisticated investors kind of turn to the space and really understand the potential here. As you mentioned, the likes of Richard Lee, he's been such an early investor into a lot of these new technological waves like the internet. And blockchain really is ushering in this new era of the internet that really deals with flows of value rather than flows of information. So really, this is becoming a much more sophisticated asset class and one open really for more sophisticated investors.
And Martin, when you're talking about investing in crypto, I can just buy a coin directly, or I can make an equity investment in a crypto startup. Yeah. Why should I focus on a token fund like yours?
So we have been one of the first investors in Asia to entirely focus on crypto and blockchain technology. Our investment focus is really investing into both existing smart contract protocols and bigger public protocols, but also, and this is I think where our edge comes in, very early stage startup investments. I'll give you the example of Solana. Solana is today a $60 billion protocol. In fact, tonight I'm flying to the conference and meet Charlie there tomorrow in Portugal with 2,000 people fully booked out. It's one of the biggest events in the blockchain space this year, the big Solana conference. And we invested in the team when it was 7 people. They came to Hong Kong, they pitched us. Thereafter, we went out here in actually Elgin Street for drinks. It was very humble. It was 7 people, and we were just blown away by the technical pedigree of the founder, Anatoly, who was the former head of compression of Dropbox. And he and his team went out to build the next big competitor to Ethereum, just 1,000 times faster. And they managed to accomplish that now.
And Charlie, tell us more about Fund 4. It sounds like almost like a Marvel movie, Fund 4. When are you going to reach that $300 million cap? What's going to be the return rate? And who else has invested apart from Richard Lee?
Yeah, so Fund 4, as Martin said earlier, we're getting close already to that cap, and we have the likes of Richard Lee and the Winklevoss brothers have been very supportive as well of us over the years. For obvious reasons, I can't mention too many names specifically, but maybe in terms of what we're looking at, back when we started the company in 2016, we were very focused on what we call core technical infrastructure, these underlying platforms on top of which the whole space is being built. Whereas today, we're kind of 6 years later, and this infrastructure has matured quite a lot, and we're now able to look a little bit broader at these exciting new applications, things like DeFi or blockchain gaming, or even the NFT space, which you may have read about, that are kind of this kind of almost like the next wave of really interesting blockchain applications.
Speaking of applications, that takes us into product. Martin, let me bring you back in because you're the one who's based here in Hong Kong. My understanding is you guys are filing for what types of licenses with a regulator here in order to do what?
So we have been mindful of regulation and regulatory requirements over the years, since our very early days. We are planning to launch an additional fund to invest into equity opportunities, actually equity venture capital, early stage opportunities. And for that, we require here in Hong Kong Type 4 and Type 9 licenses. We are very committed to Hong Kong as a location, and therefore we go that route. We are in advanced process of our application process with the SFC.
Okay, and Charlie, speaking of regulation, I mean, the fact that we are in Hong Kong, I mean, one country, two systems, we all know, of course, China stands on crypto itself. How does that fold into, or at least that risk, how does that fold into your plans? Does it affect it at all?
Well, this technology really is a global technology. These teams are distributed around the world. I think China has been quite clear and consistent with its message about, not being in favor of public blockchains. However, they are still very committed to private blockchains and kind of a lot of the underlying technology, just not so keen on the kind of public, fully decentralized vision. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and Martin, maybe talk more about that when it comes to China. Do you think the crypto world is better off without China?
Well, to be honest, that's a tough question. I mean, China banned crypto and Bitcoin, we counted 19 times over the last 5 years, and Bitcoin and crypto has proven just to become more and more resilient. Bitcoin mining was heavily located in China 3-4 years ago. It is now a global thing. Bitcoin mining moved very much into the Western world, into all sorts of the globe. So we believe China demonstrated a clear interest in blockchain as a technology, and they understand that this technology can usher in this next version of the internet. What they made clear, though, consistently, is that they are not in favor of decentralized networks, but they want to maintain a certain level of control, and that's the path they are choosing. Other jurisdictions in other countries are choosing a different path and are being more open to innovation. I think what's important to note here is the genie is out of the bottle. Blockchain technology is here to stay, and it's much bigger than just being about cryptocurrency. This technology is about this next big feature of the internet, an internet that will facilitate the flow and movement of value as opposed to just data and information. And this is what many people still don't understand. It's not just about cryptocurrency.
We were just talking about Ethereum hitting a record. I'm going to ask you which is going to outperform this year. Is it Bitcoin? Is it Ethereum? And how do you separate kind of these coins versus the ones out there that are looking a bit dodgy?
Well, there's many different coins have very different features to it. And I believe the media is oftentimes doing quite a poor job in just classifying everything cryptocurrency. It is effectively not. Like Bitcoin has very different features than a token like Ethereum. Ethereum is effectively a utility token that's required in order to pay for computational power on the network, whereas Bitcoin is not trying to do that. Bitcoin is trying to be potentially a payment system or a new version of digital gold. So it is very different features. And well, we have been early investors. Charlie has been ICO investor in Ethereum at 30 cents. I have come in at $1.80. Our fund one we launched at $7 per Ether. Today, the price hit new all-time highs at $4,500 per Ether. So you see, we are conviction-driven investors and not day traders.
There we go. There's the humble brag. So beers are on both of you, really.
You're doing well,
You're doing well. Yeah, the fourth fund, there we go, targeting 50 to 100 times, if I'm not mistaken. Gents, thank you so much. Martin Baumann there out of Hong Kong. And, of course, his co-founder, Charlie Morris, joining us out of Toronto.